Total Extreme Wrestling back at it again for our All Elite Wrestling save. We are just a few weeks away from Fight for the Fallen, and we're going to jump straight into it with AEW Dark already and booked. Let's get into it. Alright, so on the pre-show, we've got Abaddon. Of course, she's in a program right now with Britt Baker. Well, she's outside the arena, scaring off all the fans and pretty much showing us how freaky, how devastating, and how scary she possibly could be for this upcoming match of Britt Baker. 36 for that segment. Hikaru Shida, we haven't seen her for a little bit. She's in a match with Leva Bates for a 41 rated. Shida 50, very, very good. Bates 23. Yeah, I feel a bit frustrated that I haven't got Hikaru Shida in a program or in a high profile spot, considering how good she is. I would love to get her in the tag division potentially in this little mix up we've got. Maybe her and Rio. I didn't really want to go with that. There's no one else really that I think would work, but yeah, potentially back in the singles hunt, but obviously, yeah, there's no secondary championship for her to go for, and she's already lost to Britt Baker a few times now, so she's just out of the mix a little bit, but a win for her here nonetheless. And let's continue. Alright, we got Will Hobbs and Mark Henry in a segment. Will Hobbs says his new training regime that Mark Henry's organised for him is working well. So a bit of character development there for Will Hobbs, and obviously advancing this new alliance between Henry and Hobbs. Alright, we open up the main show of Dark with the Wild Things calling out Team Taz for a fight. Taz answers the call and says, look, we don't fight for free, we refuse. They're not going to fight here tonight. 72 rated for this segment though, pretty good, gaining some storyline heat. Miro defeated JD Drake in a 62 rated match, not bad. Miro 69, JD Drake 35. So, of course, as now we know, Miro recently gained a ton of popularity after winning against Chris Jericho in a tag team match. So, Miro's performances should be getting a hell of a lot better. And we had him beat a low-end guy here in JD Drake of the Wingmen. And we had Jake Hager ringside for it as well. We had Billy Gunn and Dustin Rhodes backstage saying that they're tired of the lack of respect by the factory and they plan on doing something about it. So 47 for that one. So the two veterans not happy that the young guns are calling them out, talking trash and trying to come after their spot, I suppose. We had the Seidels take on a different tag team combination from the Pinnacle, Shawn Spears and Wardlow. 52 rated match, Wardlow 60, he was the best in the match. Shawn Spears, not bad, 41. Matt Seidel, 47. Mike Seidel, 33. Yeah, so, I mean, Shawn Spears has been struggling, as we know. He's got horrible momentum. He needs to start getting more wins, and I figure this is a way to do that. Wardlow, we don't have him wrestle enough, and obviously we don't have him team up with MJF a lot because there's such a huge difference between their popularity. It just doesn't really go well, and that's also to protect MJF a little bit as well. We don't want him being overexposed. So maybe we have Wardlow work with some of the other members of the Pinnacle for a while to try and get his in-ring stats on the move, because he has to keep wrestling to be able to improve his stats. So he needs more reps in. So this might be a way we can do that and try and improve Shawn Spears too. 52 is not too bad. Jade Cargill attacked Thunder Rosa backstage while she was having an interview with Dasha, and Thunder Rosa hurting her neck. So we talked about it last episode. Thunder Rosa's got a severe neck injury. It won't keep her out of action, but it's certainly impacting her in-ring ability, and it will for a year plus. So pretty much for the entire duration of this save, she's going to be hurt and no good. So whilst we still can use her, her value does drop quite a bit, because, you know, she's only going to be able to perform around her popularity, which is 37. But someone like Jade Cargill could definitely utilize Thunder Rosa here and try and maybe steal a bit of that popularity to try and help her own self out. So yeah, not good for Thunder that she's got the injury, but we can at least introduce it and bring it into the storyline of some sorts. SCU was beaten. Yep, that's right, beaten by the Dark Order, 52 rated. So SCU, as we know, getting ready to retire. Christopher Daniels So having them put over some of the other tag teams in the division, the Dark Order could obviously use a bit of a jump in popularity. So that's why we've gone with that. Kazarian 49, Daniels 51, they're still performing really good, those two as a team. Unfortunately, Daniels, whether we like it or not, is looking to retire. We had the women's tag teams argue over all the recent results in the division and over who is the best tag team. So obviously there's been a few combinations of matches over the last few weeks. They're having a bit of an argument over, okay, who's got the upper hand, who's the better tag team right now, and we're obviously setting up for a match between all three teams at once coming up soon, 34. Main event was Christian Cage versus Isaiah Cassidy for a 68. Different opponent here. I threw Isaiah Cassidy in here, knowing that he generally has pretty good matches as a solo, or at least as a tag team, no matter what. And I thought, Christian obviously needs a win here to keep boosting up his confidence, and maybe a way to try and give Cassidy a bit of popularity with a really strong main event performance here on Dark. And it gives us a 62 rated result, which is pretty good. That's probably one of our better Dark episodes. Alright, Dynamite is booked. Let's take a look on the pre-show. We're going to test out this tag team of Hikaru Shida and Riho. And Riho 41, Shida 51, pretty good. I mean, there's no chemistry factors here, but obviously individually both women did very, very well. They picked up the win over Leva Bates and Julia Hart. And we'll keep on going. Peter Avalon, he's just about ready to turn. I think he might need a few more segments before we go for it, but he's close. Lance Archer and Jake Roberts cut a promo saying that Lance is starving for competition. I know we need to get him something. We've got 3 shows, yet we still haven't got Lance Archer in a program, so we might have to just have him work with someone a little bit lower on the card and maybe try and elevate somebody. 66. Maybe Orange Cassidy. Speaking of Orange Cassidy, he took on Sean Dean and picked up a win. They have no chemistry at all. Still had a 40 rated match though. Orange Cassidy performing at 50. He does pretty well. Old Orange, he does, usually has good performances. So again, not a bad one there from him. We open up the show with Park saying that he will make Malachi Black pay for attacking him. So last week, Malachi Black appeared out of nowhere with the lights out, lights back on, and hitting the big kick to knock out Park cold. Park wants revenge, and he's looking to get it ASAP, obviously at 5 for the Fallen will have the match. Peter Avalon was beaten by Will Hobbs for 42. So Will Hobbs just to pick up a win and try and advance his career a little bit, and he did pretty well here, picking up a nice solid win. And we had it on the main show too, which is good news that we can have Will Hobbs start to appear more on the main show. Avalon's got a lot of popularity to give as well, so hopefully he can rub off a little bit and give some to Will Hobbs, who I still have high hopes for. We haven't got him in a storyline at the moment, but I still want to try and utilize him and keep pushing him. He's one of my longer term projects, but I feel like we can get him there. So we don't want to turn Peter Avalon just yet. Probably another 2 segments or so, we should be ready for him. Miro says that Jake Hager is a failure and the weak link of the inner circle. So shots being fired by Miro. Only a 55 rated segment though. So maybe Miro's mic skills just not quite good enough to get the job done. QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes went one-on-one. So Dustin got his hands on the leader of the factory for a 48 rated match. Pretty good actually. Dustin Rhodes 51, QT 33. So they have pretty good chemistry. So this was able to bring out a little bit more out of this match, which is good to see. And I think the big payoff match here will be Anthony Ogogo getting himself involved, as he came in and assaulted Dustin Rhodes and eventually was run off by the rest of the Nightmare Factory to try and save Dustin Rhodes from any further damage. So probably Billy Gunn and Anthony Ogogo will be the big payoff match, with Ogogo picking up the win to put him over, and Billy Gunn, as we know, is getting ready to retire, so a good way for Billy to go out there. We had an 88 rated promo from MJF, who said that Adam Page will never be better than him no matter what. 88 rated promo, excellent stuff from the champ. Jungle Boy and Dax Harwood have no chemistry for their one-on-one matchup, which ended up being a 65 rated. That's a little bit disappointing. You know, in real life, these two had a fantastic match. Well, here in TW, not so much. Still pretty good. 65 is great, but, you know, it just makes you think, geez, it could have been a lot more. You know, it could have been a hell of a lot more if they had better chemistry. So, this FTR and Jurassic Express storyline was cut short, and there probably isn't too much more to really unpack here, giving FTR the ultimate win over Jungle Boy in the end. Sammy Guevara says that last week proves he can beat Jericho, and he'll do it again at Fight for the Fallen. So he got a tag team victory as he teamed up with Miro over Hager and Jericho. So it's giving Guevara a lot of belief that he can actually beat the leader of the Inner Circle. Cody Rhodes took on The Blade one-on-one for a 71 rated match. Cody 82, The Blade 33. Very good from Cody. You know, Blade's not a bad worker. We don't really utilize him enough outside of the tag team division. So this is one of those examples where I figure, you know, why not? Let's give him a chance to step up and see what he's got. Next up, Christian Cage attacks Cody Rhodes from behind with a chair. He tries to attack Cody Rhodes' legs, trying to take him out of their upcoming match even more. But eventually the AEW officials came out and saved the day. So Cody's gimmick is getting a little bit stale. Need to try and address that. But Christian making his presence felt here. Obviously, these two are going to meet for the number one contendership spot. Christian's undefeated. He's been on fire. Cody's been obviously great. You know, this is going to be a big match between those two. A bit of storyline heat behind it as well. Jon Moxley had a 75 rated match against Ricky Starks, the man that he's in a rivalry with. Great opportunity here for Moxley to work with Starks, trying to again improve Ricky Starks' popularity, but also a chance for Ricky to see where he's at as a singles. 48 rated is pretty good. Moxley excellent though, 85, huge carry job from him. But yeah, Ricky's certainly on his way to being able to be utilized a little bit more. Britt Baker forces Reba, aka Rebel, to try and find Abaddon to sign the contract for their upcoming match. Rebel is scared and she runs away for her life. So when she gets a bit close to Abaddon, she finds her, runs away because she's so frightened. 44 for that one. And our main event, 82 rated match between the Super Elite, Omega, and the Young Bucks and the Hardys. It was a 3-on-2 handicap match to try and represent how the Hardys are outnumbered, outgunned by the Super Elite. Kenny Omega with a 90 rated performance, a 90 bomb from Kenny. Nick 84, Matt 83, excellent as well. 82 rated match. That's going to certainly help out the storyline heat as well. Yeah, great match and a great win in the end from the Super Elite, who had the distraction from Carl Anderson to help out. So yeah, just continuing to really show that the numbers game is not in the favors of the Hardys. Obviously, they're going to have a cage match for the titles, so the numbers will be irrelevant, but the Super Elite trying to make up for that before they're eventually unable to. So they're trying to utilize their numbers as much as they can. 82 for this one. And that is a 79 rated show. Couple of big matches here. Cody and the Blade was great. The main event obviously great. Even Dax and Jungle Boy was pretty solid as well. And Moxley and Ricky Starks was very good. So yeah, some good matches, able to really get us a great quality show. That could be the best match I've had on AEW Dynamite so far. 82, that's pretty high. Rampage is booked, let's get into it. On the pre-show, the Gun Club took on the Factory. Surprisingly not as bad of a match as I was expecting. 29 rated. So this, of course, is the bad version of the Gun Club, I suppose. Aaron Solo, the best of the match with 31. Olsen and Colton have good chemistry, but they just don't have the popularity to really make anything of it, or the in-ring skills for that matter. 29 rated match. The Factory picked up the win. We had the Acclaim mocking SCU, their recent struggles in a wrap. So obviously SCU struggling as of late, a lot of losses for them, and the Acclaim doing a rap about their issues. Ethan Page gets a promo as well for 39, and we open up the show with something a little bit different. A bit of a little bit of a twist, I suppose, in the Adam Page and MJF storyline. MJF says he's hired a gun for the night, and it's Lance Archer, and he's coming for Adam Page. So, we spoke about it before. Lance Archer's not really doing a lot, not really getting used. So why don't we actually do something with him? So, we're going to do Adam Page and Lance Archer in the main event of Rampage. Yeah, I'm always hesitant about giving away a big match like that on TV, but, I figured it's better that Lance is in a big profile match than doing nothing, and he hasn't been doing a lot for months now. So, why not? Let's just do it. And, obviously, MJF, he tried Wardlow, that didn't work, so he's had to bring in the big guns, and that's Lance Archer to try and slow down Adam Page. So that'll be the main event later on. The Bunny and Mel teamed up to take on TJ. Not a great match, 24 rated, not enough popularity in the match to really get anything out of it. The Bunny 35 was the best in the match. TJ picked up the win, so Anna Jay pinning Mel to grab the win. We had Chris Jericho informing the Inner Circle that he will have to put down Sammy Guevara at Fight for the Fallen if their match does take place. So he's not looking forward to it, but he'll do what he has to do, and if that means he has to put down Sammy Guevara to teach him a lesson, then that's what he'll do. Chris Statlander and Jade Cargill had a 45 rated match. Chris Statlander was excellent, 47. Jade Cargill 29, and you know it, Jade Cargill did pick up the win. So in this match, we faked that Chris Statlander had an injury similar to Thunder Rosa, and she couldn't continue in the match. So it stopped by an injury, and Jade Cargill looks like she injured Thunder Rosa in storyline with the neck injury. Now Chris Statlander, so she's kind of injuring the women's division on her way to a potential title shot. So that's one way we can have her beat Chris Statlander without actually pinning her in the ring. 45 though for the match is really good. And post-match, Jade Cargill continues to beat down Statlander further. Best Friends, they come in to try and stop the attack. Wheeler Yuta, we chucked him into the Best Friends in that one as well. So that was a 50 rated segment, so really good. So including the Best Friends here, we're trying to maybe beef up the storyline a little bit with their inclusion. It's only a cameo appearance, obviously they have affiliation. So they're just looking out for Chris Statlander, who obviously was potentially injured, and it makes Jade Cargill look pretty good. Two of the top contenders now potentially injured thanks to Jade. And our main event was Lance Archer and Adam Page, 74 rated match. Lance Archer seemed off his game. Wow. Lance, this was the time. This was the main event of Rampage. Your chance to show us what you've got. You had a 62 rated performance and you were off your game. Could you not just step it up for just tonight? It had to be just for tonight. Adam Page was great though, 83, 74 rated match. Can't complain with that. MJF and Story on commentary, watching all the action as well. Wardlow tried to interfere in that match as well. He ended up distracting Lance Archer. Adam Page got the roll up for the win. Post-match, MJF blindsided Adam Page and hit him with the world title right in the head, laying him out. Just 71 though for that one. That's a little disappointing. I figured we could have got a little bit more out of that. But nonetheless, not too bad. Only a 58 rated episode of Rampage. Wow, 50. That is by far our worst edition of Rampage ever. And we had a strong main event, but I guess the second match on the card was really, really poor in comparison. We needed another 60 or 50 rated match to get us something decent. Too much women's matches, I suppose, but always good to try and develop their popularity. But yeah, Rampage as a whole took a hit because of it. Well, TNT weren't happy with our edition of Rampage, and quite frankly, neither was I. It was not great. We had 884,000 viewers for Rampage, which, look, obviously we have a much better international audience for Rampage. For example, 190,000 viewers. I think it's in Canada. So a really strong overseas audience for Rampage that try and basically beefs up our ratings quite a lot. On TNT, only 633,000. So it's quite a difference between Dynamite and Rampage still. And unfortunately, a pretty poor edition of the show. WWE have formed a brand new stable. They're called Section 17. Look at this for a stable. Drew McIntyre, Nakamura, Elias, and Humberto Carrillo. Wow. Could you think of a stranger faction than that? I will wait. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the popularity changes. So Adam Page, big main event, getting ready for his match with MJF. If we hold it in the Southeast, he's got 77 popularity, which is still very, very strong. Very happy with that. FTR closing in on the mid-60s. Jericho, well, he lost popularity last week, but he's already gained it back. 84 already. So despite the fact that he lost a few points last week, he's already got it back. Cody Rhodes, 81, doing really, really well as well. Dax looks like he's got a little bit more popularity than Cash. And Kenny's high 70s. Matt Hardy's now in the high major star threshold, so it's good to see. I'm a little surprised. I really kind of thought Matt Hardy was just about done in our game. You know, I suppose before we got Jeff, Matt was really floundering around, mid-50s performances. You know, you look at 2020, he averaged 57. 2021, he's averaging 64. So that's pretty much since joining the tag team division. Pretty big difference. 7-point average since being a solo to a tag team. So he's got a much better position, and he's gained a lot more popularity out of it because of it. So he's in a much better position since joining back up with Jeff. And, you know, for a while there, I was not really confident that Jeff Hardy was going to work out. I was even thinking about releasing him. But, you know, he's done pretty well. He's averaging 65. That's not too bad. Once we start having the Hardys work with some of the lower tag teams and start putting over some of the low tag teams, that's where we'll truly get the value out of having the Hardys. And they can try and elevate the next generation of tag teams, which hopefully will be able to be done. Sammy Guevara, he's got 70 popularity, 71 in the Southeast, heading into his big pay-per-view match with Chris Jericho. So that should be good. I'm looking forward to that. Lance Archer and Brian Cage both getting very close to the 60s, which is great. That means they can be probably utilized a little bit more as a main event talent. Lance Archer has gained a couple of points in some areas this month, so he's starting to gain a little bit of progression despite the fact we're not doing a lot with him. And Malachi Black getting ready for his big match with Park. Looking forward to that. Jake Hager ahead of his match with Miro. 59 popularity. Not too bad. Nothing too spectacular. Wardlow, he's into the 60s himself. Everywhere but the Southeast. So can you believe that? Wardlow getting the Sammy Guevara effects, I suppose. Being able to get a huge popularity thanks to, you know, Guevara. It was Jericho. Now it's MJF for Wardlow. So, benefit of association, I suppose. Further down the card, Jade Cargill, obviously, big night for her. She got a win over Chris Statlander. She's now got 35 popularity. She's gained 5 points since beating Statlander. That kind of gives me some concerns for Chris Statlander. She's got 42 in the Southeast, so she is one of the most popular women on the roster right now. Statlander, oh no. So, she had 37. I think it might have even been 38. She's dropped to 35. So she lost 3. Jade gains 5. Quite honestly, Jade needs the popularity more. If she's going to be any good, she needs the popularity because she doesn't have the ring work to be able to be decent. So it's not a bad trade-off. Statlander kind of goes back to what she was already at, which was 35, to try and put over Jade. And obviously we're setting up for Jade and Britt Baker down the line for the title. Which I'm pretty confident that would be good. So that's a big jump there for Jade Cargill, who you're probably thinking, why are we pushing her even though she's not getting the performances? We're just trying to create a new star, I suppose. She's got huge star quality, huge potential to be one. You know, I think it's worth the risk to try at least make it happen. Ricky Stark's 46 now. He's very close to breaking out, which is really exciting to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he goes in the future. Will Hobbs, he had a big win over Peter Avalon. He's now got 32 in most areas, 43 in the Southeast. So that's pretty big numbers now for Will. He's just on the cusp of also breaking out and being a low end, now into more of the mid-card range, which I'm really excited for. Hopefully we can get him in a position where he can really strike. QT Marshall's even gained a little bit of popularity as well, which is always handy. You know, the other guys in the factory, Agogo has got nothing really. Nick Comoroto has got nothing. Small little progression. Aaron Solo's got a little bit in the Southwest and Mid-South, but nothing in the areas that we're currently featuring in, so not much to really boast about for the factory, even though we've had we've given him a decent little push, nothing too major, but it's been a little nice little tap on the shoulder. But yeah, Anna Jay now moving up to 30 popularity in the Southeast, so she got a win over the Bunny and Mel, and she's gained quite a bit this month. Tay Conti 27 in the Southeast, so she's not too far behind. The Bunny, she was at 31, she drops back to 28, 29, which is a little disappointing for her, but obviously long-term Anna Jay, I feel like is going to be a pretty big star for us. I'm looking forward to seeing her development as well. So I'm happy for her to take that extra bump and the Bunny to lose it, because the Bunny, we've tried to push her and it just hasn't really worked. Although she is performing pretty well in this tag team. She's averaging 39 this year. And if we type in Mel, and she's averaging 35 when she's teaming with Mel. So maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, look, not too bad. I feel like individually her performances are strong, despite the fact that Mel is probably dragging her down a little bit. But nonetheless, not too bad. Whilst we're having a quick little look, let's take a look at the recent edition of Dynamite as well. We didn't touch on it before, but it got 979,000 viewers. So 79 rated edition of Dynamite, which is one of our probably best ever. Nearly hitting 1 million viewers. We're very, very close, which would be great to see. So Fight for the Fallen is just 7 days away. So next time we have our round of shows, we'll have the go-home show for Fight for the Fallen, which will be exciting. Cash this month is strong again. Currently $500,000 in the green. So if we can keep that up, we're certainly in line to having another strong month. If we can sell a few tickets for the pay-per-view, that will certainly help. So we're trying to cut down on our worker costs, and we're really trying to beef up in other areas. We had that one house show as well, which gained pretty much no money at all, but it was good to see what we could potentially do with that. If we need money, we could maybe try and open up a few more shows a couple times a month to try and do that. But at the moment, the money is looking pretty good. I'm not too concerned by it. Our current size as a company is still only 68. It's 67 in the other areas, so that part of the world is growing. But in terms of just the Southeast, it's not really. Canada's gained 3 points over the last 12 months. Mexico, nothing. The British Isles, 3 points. Japan, 3 points. Europe, nothing. Oceania, Australia area, nothing other than New Zealand, which has gained, 7 points in the last 12 months, which is good. In India, similar numbers, have gained quite a bit over the last couple of months, so a bit of a jump up to our Indian fans. So we're still currently suffering from the big scandal that we had quite a long time ago now, early in the series, with DDP talking a lot of crap about some, I think it was a steroid scandal or something like that, or some big scandal that we had, but that's going to end in 1 month's time. So I really feel like that gives us a real big potential that we could actually start to gain popularity and gain some size once we move away from that scandal. So fingers crossed that this size of 67 could maybe jump into the 70s. So for a bit of context, the WWE, they're currently sitting in high 70s, about 78, 79. So we're a fair bit away from them, but it's still in reaching range. NXT has 70 across the board, so we're actually below and behind them. They started the game at 60, now they have 70. So that's quite a big jump for NXT, and we haven't really been able to follow it with them. So that's a little disappointing. Some of the other companies around the world, Ring of Honor, 52 is their popularity. That's pretty low. Let's have a look at Impact. They're over, of course, in Canada. They're currently sitting at 47, 46. I'm not sure what their US ranking is. So 40 is what they're at. So they're a fair way off the mark as well. So still NXT and WWE are probably the main competition we have to worry about at this stage. But yeah, so speaking of competition, there is a potential that some big name wrestlers could be jumping ship or jumping around in the near future to some of these other companies in the game. So as we know, there are a few names on the free agency market that are pretty helpful. Braun Strowman is one. Now he's actually got a little deal going with PWG, and he's had quite a number of matches with them, averaging around the 80 mark. So, PWG been able to really enjoy having him on their roster, and he's obviously doing very, very well there, 74 popularity. Bray Wyatt, on the other hand, we can't sign Bray Wyatt even if we want to. We're too small for him. So Bray Wyatt's big timing us. He does not want to come to us because we're too small, brother. So we have to try and grow our company if we even want to sign Bray. So I think that'll be the same for most other companies. I don't know if Bray Wyatt will wrestle again in this save unless he goes back to WWE. And which, by the way, he left WWE as their WWE champion. So he was getting a mega push in the WWE. In fact, he's 52-6 in the whole save, 21-0 in 2021. So it didn't really feel right to put him away from WWE, but that's what happened in real life, so we're going to emulate it. Buddy Murphy, he's gone to PWG as well. He's got 56 popularity, so PWG's picked up a couple of good names there, which is good to see. You got some veterans like Kane, Undertaker, they're available in the market. Samoa Joe, we did have him. We weren't meant to. Hopefully he goes back to NXT, which I doubt it, but hopefully he does something. Velveteen Dream, we don't really want to touch him probably yet. Same, a bit similar like Marty's girl. We don't want to really go there. Probably the big one for us that we could really look at is maybe Lana. I really believe Lana will be going to AEW because why wouldn't she? Reconnect with Miro, be his manager again, but potentially get back in the ring. She's really not good in the ring at all, but 64 popularity for our women's division. That could be huge, and really you could probably stick her in a tag team with someone and she might be able to do something there. So that would be huge for us. I really do believe she's going to AEW. So I suppose when she probably jumps over in real life, we might emulate that. Or we could jump the shark and get in there early, I suppose. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Miro's going to want to have her here. And per month, she's worth $37,000. Wow. $2,100 per show. That is a lot of money to pay for Lana. $2,000 a show. She started the game at 56 popularity, boosted it up to 64, so clearly has the capabilities of getting over, and in ring she's never had a match. Not one match. So that's probably not good. That's not really going to help her in ring stats if she's not wrestling. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. One more week to go until Fight for the Fallen. I hope you enjoy this episode of Total Extreme Wrestling. Looking forward to seeing Fight for the Fallen, and we have the Go Home show coming up next. And as always, we try and have a good episode of Dynamite before the Go Home show. It only feels right. Leave it on a strong note. Hopefully, we can have that success next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.